What's up, everybody? It's Jared with Capture the Magic. And there's many complaints people have about, social media, influencers, things ruining the theme parks. We've talked about this before, about how it's many times impeding the guest experience. And I would say one of the things that I think a lot of people have grown really, really tiresome of are the resellers. And there's two different types of resellers. There's the type that when there's a new release, they come up, they show up at the parks, they buy up all that they can, and then they post it on eBay and other outlets and have really big markups. And the people that were in the parks that really wanted these things can't get them because they're being sold for profits on eBay or other outlets. Then there's the ones that do something rather new, which is they actually have like online live auctions that take place on TikTok or other social media platforms. And very similarly, they hog up merchandise, they haven't purchased it, and then they basically just, the highest bidder gets the item. And it's becoming an issue, and we have a TikTok video today that kind of outlines this, and it's kind of wild here. So we're going to take a look at this, react to it, because I do think this is becoming more of an issue, and I don't really know what the solution is to this. But we're going to look at this, talk about it, give some thoughts on it. TikTok is from Ashley Travels 715. And this is at a Disney character warehouse. So if you don't know what these are the discount Disney stores that are around Disney property or Disney World. They're not on Disney property. They are in outlet malls, within a few miles of the parks. But they're places where old merchandise is there that you can get heavily discounted. So we've been to these quite a bit where you go in there, you can find like an old Starbucks coffee mug. Maybe it's an outdated one. Sometimes you get stuff for like $5, old mouse ears, old t-shirts, just stuff that Disney basically wants to get rid of, and you can find some really good deals. So people lots of times on their vacations will come here. If you go to the theme parks and you want to get a shirt, but you don't want to pay $40, you can go to an outlet and you can get a shirt maybe at a reasonable price or a cheaper price there. So it's a nice little perk to have if you're looking for some Disney merchandise. And lately, there's lots of resellers here that have been causing some issues, and you're going to see why in this video here. So we're going to start taking a look at this.
You want to see what's wrong with the Disney culture? I wanted to get a pair of ears, maybe, from the Disney outlet, and I get here 40 minutes before it opens. And wait till you see what I'm seeing. First of all, look at the totes. Look at the little wagons. All these totes and wagons, they are all resellers. All of them. Everybody has a tote and a wagon. And they're still going. More totes and more wagons. This is a Disney outlet where people can come and maybe get a pair of ears that are $9 instead of $35 in the park. But no, these people have ruined it. They breathing hot on that glass in there, drooling over some Mickey ears in a Moana.
I mean, mind you, these stores are not very big. They're actually, like, if you have the amount of people with the amount of totes and wagons that they have here, if you get 10 of these people in a store, it's difficult to navigate it. And they're only there, and she's going to show in a minute, to resell stuff. So they're in here basically hoarding up merchandise for hours sometimes, having live streams, auctioning it off to whoever says they're going to buy it. And basically, you have all these people here, like these are the first people in line to do this. So if you just came here, like she was saying, to just buy something cheap, you're going to have to wait in line behind all these people who are going to go in before you and hoard up all the merchandise and waiting for other people to purchase it online.
On a t-shirt, oh my God. They're going to wipe this damn store out. In 5 minutes, it's all going to be gone.
I need 1 inch of the bag.
Woman over there's plotting. She's like, I need 1 inch of the bags, 16 pairs of ears. Woman, what? I can't even buy a pair of ears. I made it in the Disney store, and it's much worse than I thought. All these people are on live, and their wagons are overflowing. Look at this absolute mountain right here. Look at this. This is all.
So mind you, they haven't purchased anything. They're taking merchandise, loading it into their totes and wagons, and then live streaming what they have and looking for other people to buy it. So if you wanted to get it, I guess you could take it out of their tote or something, but they're hogging up merchandise that other people can't purchase.
People's stuff, they're just on live advertising things. They're literally having their own showcase on live. They're having live sales shows in the middle of the effing store.
That's crazy. Like, again, it's one thing, like, listen, I'm a capitalist. There's demand for something. People want something. Like, you find a niche and you want to service that demand. Like, that's one thing. And then you can have other things about how does that affect the guest experience. But it's also another thing to have merchandise in your possession in a store that you're not really intending to purchase, like, at that moment. You're only holding it basically unless somebody else wants to buy it. I mean, this would be like holding a spot in line for somebody that may or may not show up. It's just, again, I don't know what rules it technically breaks, but it just doesn't, it just feels wrong on a lot of levels.
Are you kidding me? How is this allowed? She has a live show going. Look at this. Seriously, what happened to families coming here, buying one or two things, getting some ears for their kids? No, it's turned into a sales event. This shouldn't be allowed.
And she has a valid point there. And I actually talked about this. Orange Grove 55 and I had a part of a video. We reacted to this exact part on that video. And like that was the original concept, is like families and kids. And obviously this has evolved into, you know, there's adults that can't make it to Disney or the theme parks, and they want some of this merchandise and are obviously willing to pay more for it because they're not there physically. And these people are basically the liaisons of that. But like, I've always thought about it, you know, if I can imagine my daughter saving up some money and wanting to go get something, or we're like, hey, we're going to take in here and get you something here because we don't want to spend $35 on a bubble wand in the parks, but you can get a bubble wand here sometimes for $5-10 or something like that. And you have a kid in here that can't buy something they want because all of the adults, or a lot of the adults in here, have their wagons full of stuff that they're actually not looking to buy for themselves or really anything. They're just seeing if anybody else online is willing to pay more for it. Again, it just feels gross. And obviously this is something that is not your natural way of shopping and is not the intended purpose of these shops. And again, like, all these people are live, and she goes on to show this in a minute. Like, and again, these stores are not big. Like, you have a bunch of people in this shop with all these totes and wagons taking up space and merchandise that are impeding people that maybe just want to go get an item or two that are a little bit cheaper or more. I don't know.
I can't believe this. Everybody's on live. All of this stuff is for one person that are selling. Disney needs to put an end to this because this is not their store. This is the Disney Character Warehouse. This is not, you know, Terry's online shopping extravaganza. I'm sorry.
And here's the thing about that, though. I don't know how much Disney cares, because at the end of the day, the stuff at the Character Warehouse is stuff that Disney wants to get rid of. So this would be kind of like having your own yard sale, and you've just got a bunch of stuff you're wanting to get rid of, and you happen to have a bunch of people show up that are, you know, loading stuff or holding on to it and seeing if anybody else online wants to purchase it. So in many ways, the people that they're reaching out to were not going to come to your yard sale, but these people are basically going to sell, like, they're going to take it, they're going to buy your stuff, and then they're going to upmarket or upsell it. But like, how much do you really care? You know, because you were just wanting to get rid of it and get a couple bucks for it. But then these people are going to take it, but it does impede like other people in the neighborhood that may want to buy stuff. Like, I don't know how much Disney cares, because this is not stuff that they want around. They're just trying to get rid of it. And so it's kind of a loophole in the system a little bit. And it also looks like there might be an update in terms of maybe Disney's policies having changed around some of these resellers. Because again, this has been picking up a lot of traction about people just really being annoyed by this. So she has an update here. This is from earlier this month about, I guess, Disney's enforcing some new rules around these live stream shopping events that these people are doing.
This is the beginning of the end for the Disney Character Warehouse live streaming personal shoppers. Just wait till you hear what I found out.
We do have a little bit of housekeeping, so if you can hear this. We know we have a lot of people who live stream and then they take photos. What we do ask is you do your best to be conscious of only videotaping the product and not people's faces. I know there's a great crowd in there.
So what that guy had an announcement, it was a Disney employee was saying that they understand there's lots of people live streaming like stuff they're shopping to try and not show other people's faces. But I don't really think this is going to do anything to the online shopping stuff, because she goes on to say that she thinks this is the end of Disney live streamer, like personal shoppers, but I don't really think that's the case.
So now they're giving a full-on speech that they're telling the whole line about live streaming in the shop. Do not show people's faces, and please get out of the way and be respectful to other people. So it looks like this is the beginning of the end for these personal shoppers, live streamers, and just absolute madness in the Disney Character Warehouse. So let's hope that they just ban it altogether.
The thing is, I don't know how they can ban this. And really, again, does Disney want to ban this? Because they're buying merchandise. Now, there was another TikTok, I couldn't find it, where this one reseller was being told by a Disney employee in one of these shops that they basically, I'm guessing, it sounded like from what he was saying, she was in the store for hours in the corner, and he basically said, you're holding a bunch of merchandise that I could have sold. We can't let you do this anymore. And it sounded like what he said was like 2 or 3 hours she was in here. So these people are in here a very long time doing this. Again, hoarding merchandise. I don't know what the answer to it is, because I don't really know how, even if Disney wanted to stop this, or not even Disney, Universal as well. It's an issue at Universal. I just came across these TikToks about the Disney warehouses, but in the theme parks at Disney World and Universal Studios, you have these problems. This is why Disney puts limits on new stuff and says you can't buy more than 10 or whatever of an item, that a lot of people feel should be a lower amount, because obviously 10 of an item, I mean, why else really would most people buy 10 other than they're looking to sell some of it? But again, Disney's moving the merchandise, so I don't know if they really care. But even if you wanted to stop this, how are you going to, how would you enforce that? Like, are you just going to say that people can have their phones out? Because I don't think that would work. People go live all the time. Like, there's just a lot of things. Like, could you say no tote bags? But then again, what about strollers? Does the kids have to be in the strollers? Do they have to have their own basket that they give you in the shop? Like, I mean, on some level, maybe you put a time limit. Like, if these people are in these shops for hours on end doing this, I mean, I guess you could do that. But then again, that would require employees to be tracking how long people are in the stores. And then I could see the workaround being if you get an hour in the store and then they just switch off, like somebody's outside, they come in, like there's probably always going to be loopholes and workarounds of whatever rules that these places set up. I don't really know how you would go about this. But I do think, again, it's becoming an issue. Whenever you have the majority of people in a store or on the opening day of a merchandise release are resellers, people that are just wanting to get it for themselves are not able to do so, which leaves them very frustrated. And obviously there's demand for these things. They're servicing a demand, and the people buying them, I'm sure, are happy that people are doing this for them. But then, to me, this comes down to a balance thing. If you have a couple of people doing this, it's not that big of a deal. But if you have a lot more people doing this because people see this and they say, oh, we can make some extra money doing this, then you have way too much volume of this. And then that's when it becomes an issue. If you had some of these resellers, they bought one for themselves and buy one or two to sell, like, I don't think most people are going to have a problem with that. But it's whenever people are going in and they're leaving with 20 of an item. And you have stuff like this where there's a new release of a popcorn bucket and they've got 20 of them and they're walking out with them. Things like this that people do. But again, what's the motivation for Disney or Universal to cramp down on this? Because they're buying merchandise that they have for sale. And so I don't really know if anything will really be done about this. I mean, I honestly speaking, like, I do think if I don't go to the outlet stores much, and I'm not really into buying, merchandise on day one or things like that. But if I was, I guess I might feel differently about it. But if I'm selling items and let's say, people want it and somebody buys 20 of my item, I don't much care. And if other people say, hey, like, that's not cool that they did that. Well, if I'm selling out of stuff, at the end of the day, I'm making money. So where's the motivation for Disney to really step in until there's really enough public outcry about this, I suppose? But just from a business standpoint, I mean, these people are buying merchandise that Disney wants to sell or Universal wants to sell. And the only people that are unhappy about this are other people that can't buy it, which I get. I'm not saying that it's not wrong or right. I'm not saying it's right, but obviously if you missed out on merchandise because somebody bought 20 of them or 20 different, groups bought 20 of them each and there's none left. And then the only way to get it is go on eBay and it's, 50% more or whatever it is. Yeah, that's frustrating. I completely understand it. And I think this is why a lot of times we see Universal sometimes do kind of like secret drops where they don't announce stuff. Sometimes they'll just kind of release it day of while, during the day so people in the park have a chance to get it. I think maybe more of those, like just randomly dropping things without these big announcements ahead of time would be the way to go about it. But then again, people that want to get this stuff for themselves are also not maybe going to be in the parks when this happens. So I don't think there's a perfect solution to this. But I can tell you as somebody just from the outside looking in, when you look at these things, it just doesn't, I guess as Orange Grove 55 would say, it doesn't pass the vibe check. It's just like, ugh. It's kind of the best way to kind of like, that's not really a word, but that's kind of the way I look at this. I find it an annoyance. I understand why people get frustrated. I understand with the people reselling it, why they do it to make money. There's a demand there, but I don't really think there's a lot of inherent motivation to really put a bunch of resources out or really go above and beyond to limit the amount of people that can buy something that you're selling. I've heard some people say they need to ban these people from the parks, but again, if they're not breaking rules, and mind you, there have been people that have been warned about this stuff previously of doing this. I do believe Disney has actually like taken away annual passes from people that have done this. So I feel like the ones that are really habitual rule breakers of this, like Disney has cracked down on. So they have done stuff in the past, but it's like once this becomes like critical mass and a bunch of people are doing it, I don't really know other than maybe if Disney comes out and says, if we find you reselling these things, you're going to get in trouble. But then that would require them to monitor eBay and all these other places. And then like, is somebody just, you're just selling an item that you have and you get wrapped up into this. I feel like it gets really complicated trying to enforce rules created around this. And very likely these people are going to find caveats to the rules. And there's always going to be a group of people that do this type of stuff. But, it's not only in theme park stuff. It's in everything. Scalpers and resellers, Pokemon cards. Like, it's the same thing. This is an issue not only just in theme park merchandise, but kind of anything that's in demand. There's going to be a group of people that are looking to make money off of that and sell it to other people and basically upcharge it. And I don't know if anybody that's really ever successfully kind of gotten rid of this crowd. So I don't know if there's an answer to it. Let me know in the comments what you think if there's an answer to this. Because I just honestly thinking like, I don't know how you would actually implement some sort of rule that would eliminate this. You might be able to implement something that reduces it. But in terms of like the outlet store specifically, it's stuff that they're just trying to get rid of. And I don't think they have a lot of motivation to really crack down on it. We'll see if anything changes on this and how this goes. I have a feeling this is going to become even more rampant if I were to guess, but we'll wait and see on that. But either way, that's going to be it though for this video. So if you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel as we do lots of coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments, what do you think about this? And is there any rule that these places could implement that would really crack down on this? And until next time, we will see you in the parks. In the theme parks at Disney World and Universal Studios, you have these problems. This is why Disney puts limits on new stuff and says you can't buy more than 10 or whatever of an item that a lot of people feel should be a lower amount, because obviously 10 of an item, I mean, why else really would most people buy 10 other than they're looking to sell some of it? But again, Disney's moving the merchandise, so I don't know if they really care. But even if you wanted to stop this, how are you going to, how would you enforce that? Like, are you just going to say that people can have their phones out? Because I don't think that would work. People go live all the time. Like, there's just a lot of things. Like, could you say no tote bags? But then again, what about strollers? Does the kids have to be in the strollers? Do they have to have their own basket that they give you in the shop? Like,